Welcome back to another episode of Allen Police Behind the Badge. We're your hosts, Officer Sam Ripamani and Alexis Birmingham.
And today our guest is Christopher Zeltner.
Hey, Chris, how are you?
Good, how are you?
So, let's talk a little bit about where you came from and what you do here in a minute. But
Okay.
all your time's not spent in Texas. I know that.
Yes, sir.
Got some California experience. All right. So, out of both agencies, can you think of something? Give me one of your interesting stories in your career.
All right. So, luckily I prepared, but I thought of this the other day, and it's one that's a little embarrassing, but it happens. It'll be a San Diego story, but I had a really good partner down there, Blake Williams, and he's a really good guy, super proactive, great cop. And we would often go out and look for people that we knew were wanted in the area, especially if it was it had to do with the group that we were in that prioritized our focus more on gangs and narcotics. And so we knew that there's this guy out there that was wanted, and I don't remember his name, but his moniker was Ghost. That's what his buddies called him, Ghost. Oh. So he had a warrant. We were looking for him. We knew the area that he was hanging out in. And one day we're driving around and we see this taco truck on the corner of a couple of streets down in Shelltown in San Diego. And so there's this taco truck there, and there he is. There's Ghost, and he's sitting on a BMX bike in front of the taco truck like he's ordering some food. And we're in a marked patrol car, so he obviously sees us approaching him. And so he sees us approaching, and he kind of like glances nonchalant and kind of goes and rides his bike around the backside of the taco truck. And so my partner's driving. He lets me out. I go around this side of the taco truck, and he drives around this side. As soon as he sees that I had got out on foot, there's an alley right behind the taco truck. He starts jamming on his bike away from me. And I'm like, I'm going to get this guy before he gains speed, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to get this guy. I was a lot faster then. But so I'm in my mind, I'm going to get him. So I start taking off after him, but I started my run on like an arc, but I was trying to run as fast as I could. So going after him, my partner's going in the car, and I'm chasing after him, and I'm like, okay, I got this, and I start feeling a little off balance. I'm like, I'm gonna fall. Okay, oh no, I'm good. I'm not gonna fall. No, I fell. Yeah, I was chasing after this dude, full on fell. I had a brand new holster and a brand new gun, and I burred up the whole side of it and everything.
Oh no!
But things happen when you go out and chase people, and trying to find some people that are wanted, and. But we did catch the guy. Ended up being a very long pursuit, but we got the guy. But my partner never let me forget that I had fallen, which was...
You did a barrel roll?
Yeah, I actually did. Yeah, I rolled and got up and kept running. He made fun of me quite a bit, which is, all in good fun. But about a month later, he did the same thing when we were chasing after somebody else. Yeah, so it made me feel
karma
good.
Right there.
Yeah, it made me feel good.
It happens. Anytime... I remember the first time I got into a foot chase. It's like you're trying to run faster than your body's capable of because of the adrenaline. And you kind of get out over your toes sometimes a little too far.
Yep.
And it happens. So
did you grow up in California?
I did. I was born in L.A., raised in North San Diego County.
Oh, okay. So you started out your career there, or did you go to college there?
I did. I mean, I went to college in the area, but I began my law enforcement career with the city of San Diego.
Did you always want to become an officer?
Actually, no. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was kind of lost for a little while, but got it figured out and decided it was something I wanted to do, and it actually happened pretty quick. Normally, a hiring process takes a while, but I was blessed with a swift. It was like 4 months from start to finish.
Oh wow!
And then I was in the academy getting trained.
What's the training like out in California?
Phenomenal. Yeah, they actually put a lot of time and effort into their training programs, pretty organized. Yeah. We had the blessing of being near a couple of other larger agencies that are kind of looked towards as, the pinnacle of law enforcement. We had LAPD and LASO, and both of them, their training programs were fantastic. A lot of really good guys out there. Being in San Diego, there's lots of military. And the military does a really good job with their training. And it's a lot of really valuable experience in law enforcement. So naturally, those guys get out of the military, and it's a pretty easy step to go from the military to a law enforcement career. Yeah. So they get recruited pretty pretty heavily out
There's
there.
a lot of Navy out there, right?
There's a lot of everything out there.
Oh, is it all branches?
Yeah, in the area that I worked, we had the Marine Corps, the Navy, and the Coast Guard and the Air Force.
I know Iron Mike over at the PD, who's about to retire on us.
Yep.
That's home to him too. He loves San Diego area.
So his home is in the southern part of Southeastern Division of San Diego. That was my beat.
Yeah,
His son lives in my old beat.
And he was a career Navy guy.
Yep.
So senior chief.
Yep. 32nd Street down there is really close.
How long have you been in Texas now?
My family and I have been in Texas for a little over 4 years.
You just had to get this Texas heat, huh? I mean,
Man, I can't tell you how much we enjoy Texas.
Yeah?
It's been great for us. Yeah.
Was there any particular thing that drew you to Texas?
Where we lived in California, I didn't live in San Diego County, but it was a little bit more dry, like deserty weather. Still great weather, but we were looking for something similar. I was looking for an agency that was about the same size as the one I worked after. I was San Diego PD, then another agency, and then I came here. But I was looking for about the same size agency. We were looking for a similar living, but the Texas lifestyle fit us very well.
Yeah.
And we loved the southern hospitality that we experienced when we came here. So it kind of pulled us in.
How you liking Allen?
Allen's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the agency I worked for when I left California, I never would have left. It was a phenomenal agency to work for, and I'm very pleasantly surprised that I get to work for this agency where we have citizens that genuinely love us and appreciate us. And obviously not everybody, but for the most part, it's great. And I wouldn't trade it. I'm not going anywhere.
That's what I try to, like, when my family asks, what's it like working up there by Dallas? I'm like, it's hard to explain. Like, Allen is different than all these other communities. It's
Sure.
It's on the verge of, it's a good sized city, but it's a small community. Like, it's that small town feel. Like the community buy-in to our first responders is amazing in this city.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to have that support.
Yeah.
Were you a detective in California?
I was.
Okay, so you came here and knew you wanted to be a detective as well?
Man, I don't know. That's a hard question. I've always loved being in patrol. I love going out and being proactive on the streets. So I was actually looking forward to that because there's good and bad in both positions. And being a detective in California, I kind of missed the freedoms and liberties that come with being in patrol and whatnot. But once I got here, I enjoyed the patrol aspect for about a year and a half, and then I went back to investigations.
He's got a particular set of skills.
Yeah.
So what's your role in the department right now?
So currently I work in the property crimes unit within the investigations bureau, and we all kind of rotate kind of what we do. I mean, cases come in as they come in. We can't control that. Yeah. But so you try to stick with your specialties, but typically we will get assigned a wide variety of cases. My primary focus and the training that I've gotten since I've been with Allen in CID in the investigations division, it focuses on auto theft.
Okay. Is that pretty high in Allen or?
No, not really. I mean, I think we have a good group of guys working in the investigations division, and our patrol guys have been fantastic as well in trying to combat the auto theft crimes in our area, and it's actually working very well. Being very proactive and visible, but then going after people when we do witness them committing crimes and such has really helped. It's noticeable.
Oh, we see it on our end in community relations, and what we're seeing on social media. Like what y'all are doing up there is making a big difference. What we kind of tell our citizens when we go out is Allen's a very target-rich environment. There's people in Allen have a lot of nice things, and so with that in mind, what would you tell our community to help prevent these vehicle thefts?
Oh man, I mean, just don't assume that crime can't happen here. It's a very safe city. Yeah. There's a lot of really large bonuses to living or working in an area like this, but don't take it for granted. Yeah. Lock your cars, put valuables away. Please don't leave spare keys to your car or your house inside of your vehicle. Lots of stuff like that. It's simple reminders, but crime finds everybody.
Yeah.
And you think you might live in a super safe area and you don't need to do certain things, but please do. It prevents a lot of crime, just locking a car or making sure you don't have valuables in view, things like that.
It does seem like when we get a rash of burglaries, it's, when we get the camera footage, which are cameras good to have? Do you think they're a good tool to have on your...
I love cameras.
Yeah?
Cameras are fantastic.
It's kind of
for
the
us.
way it's kind of taking the place of burglar alarms, it seems like now. The motion cameras.
Yep.
But when we see that footage, it's like people walking alleys just looking for unlocked vehicles most of the time.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so that's the majority of those, the burglary to motor vehicles. It's just walking alleys and trying to see who left their stuff unlocked.
Yeah. Goodness.
Is there anything new in your unit?
We've been blessed with some good resources as of late. We've increased the amount of cameras we have in our city. The license plate reading cameras help us solve a lot of crimes, and so I mean that's a new, well, it's not new technology, but we have a few different avenues to utilize some resources for license plate readers. People that have worked really hard in trying to get those systems applied to our department, and it's very beneficial.
And those are the flock cameras you're talking about?
Those are one of them. We have Vigilant and Flock.
Oh, okay.
Can you kind of describe what they do? Like,
sure. The cameras are stationary, and it's a vehicle drives by, it'll take a picture of the license plate and store that image. So if we're looking for a license plate, if I have a stolen car that leaves an area, then we can track that license plate.
we even have that on some mobile vehicles now, right?
We do. Yes.
So how's that? Is it getting some good info?
Anytime you can put a vehicle or a person in a place at a certain time, it's definitely beneficial.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I think
One of our COPs.
one of our Citizens on Patrol vehicles has it on there, and it helped locate a stolen vehicle, I think is what it was, or something.
I'm not sure.
I think it was a felony stop or something
resulted in
related
pretty
to that.
cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I know that there's been a lot of hits on them. I'm not sure which one you're talking about specifically, but they work.
That's so.
It's money well spent.
So do you see yourself staying where you're at for a while, or you got?
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I like investigations. I like patrol. I mean, you never know what's gonna happen or where your career is gonna take you.
Would you take on any collateral duties or anything like sparking your interest?
Oh man, I have to be careful with that one. With my last agency, I had too many collateral duties.
It can happen quick.
But here I'm a member of the peer support team, and that's something that's pretty rewarding. Where we get to assist, the officers or people that we work with, and make sure that they're in good health, and that they're in the right place to be able to be doing our work, and that we're taking care of each other, and we're there when somebody needs us.
Yeah, that's such a valuable tool to have in our department.
Yes.
Especially with what's going on around us.
Absolutely it is, yeah.
And we can also provide assistance to other agencies as well, right?
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's something, how long have you been in law enforcement? Total?
About 17 years.
So we're right about the same. I hit 18 next month. So when we started, that was police officers talking about their feelings. What in the world? No way. Don't ask questions like that.
I mean, you're still going to get cops when you mention that, it'll back off. But it's kind of taken, since we were newer cops, it's kind of taken a turn where it's not necessarily always, talking about your feelings. It's more just being there for each other. If you notice your buddy's having a bad day, or some, that they had a traumatic event recently, and just check them. Hey, how you doing? All right. Well, if you need something, just let me know. It's really easy. It's natural. A lot of times we like to complicate things and think and turn it into a big deal, but it doesn't have to be. It's just making sure that people are okay.
Yeah, I think it's huge. Texas, or not just Texas, law enforcement's had a tough year this year with officers committing suicide, and
yes,
and if we can do something to help our brothers and sisters, I mean, I think it's
absolutely. I mean, we do it for the rest of the community, but sometimes we forget ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm assuming you didn't move to Texas by yourself?
I did not move to Texas by myself.
Brought your family with you?
I did.
So how many kids you have?
I have 4 children.
4?
Well, my wife and I have 4 children.
Your wife and I. 4 kiddos, man.
Yeah.
You don't look old enough to have 4 kids.
Well, we had them pretty quick. I have twin boys that are 17.
Oh,
And
wow.
and then we had a surprise right away, and that's another boy. He's 16. So Irish triplets there, and then we waited a few years, and I have a daughter, and she's 12.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
So you got your little girl.
Oh yeah.
So what grade are your 17-year-olds in?
They are juniors, and then my 16-year-old is a sophomore, and my daughter is in 7th grade.
One more year.
Do they play any sports?
They've done a variety of things growing up. They've done soccer, and they've done karate, and they've done baseball and football and all kinds of stuff. But
You're super busy.
But currently, I have one son who's a wrestler. I have
Wow.
another son who's in choir. I have another son who plays baseball, and then my daughter is a dancer.
Wow. So where did he get his singing abilities from?
Probably not me. No, my wife is a fantastic singer.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
yeah, and she my daughter inherits that as well. But yeah.
So you met your wife in California?
Yeah, that's kind of like a movie story. I've known my wife since we were 3 years old.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she's fantastic. So we met when we were 3 years old. Our parents were really good friends. We met through church, and we spent summers and holidays and everything together.
Sounds arranged.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, but
Parents were fingers crossed for this the whole time.
no, they actually they were super surprised. They didn't
Really?
expect it. Yeah. But yeah, she's great, and we've been married in this July we'll be married 20 years.
Oh, it's
Wow.
amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
It's a lifetime.
I know. It seems like it.
So what are some differences that you see from California versus Texas in law or in law enforcement?
Man, things have changed even since I've left in the 4 years that I've been gone. But when I was first an officer, when I was a brand new rookie, I mean, things were definitely different from when I left there as well. I remember the laws had changed in California, and I remember writing my first citation for possession of a Schedule I controlled substance. And that was a little odd for me because, that's an arrest here.
Yeah.
It's a felony here, but they changed it to misdemeanors there. Sometimes it was a little disheartening when you go through all this work and you find somebody that, committed a decent crime and they get booked into jail, and then the next day you see them walking the streets, where they get released pretty much right away. So that was that was not the most fun thing in the world, but because sometimes people need a little bit more time to make things right for things that they've done wrong. Another thing that we had in California is that it would be conditions of probation, or somebody does something wrong, they go through the court process, and then part of the conditions of their release for their probation from jail would waive their right to unreasonable search and seizure. Wow. So as conditions, it was to make sure that they were staying on track. So you could go to their home and you could search their home, make sure that they didn't have the items that they weren't supposed to have, whether it be guns or drugs or, child pornography or whatever it was. We were able to keep tabs on them to try to keep them in the right direction.
I like it.
So, I mean, you stop somebody on the highway for a speeding ticket and they're on probation with a Fourth Amendment waiver, you could search their car.
Yeah. So as long as they're on that probationary period, you can do that.
As long as it was part of their probation conditions. Not everybody had that condition. But
oh man, I don't know if that'd fly in Texas.
Yeah. It's not something that really happens here. So
yeah, absolutely not.
Mm-mm.
That's interesting. But I'm sure some of the laws are very similar.
Yeah. There's a lot of laws. I mean, you're going to take some property that doesn't belong to you. There's a law to protect that. You're going to harm somebody. There's a law to protect that. So, I mean, overall, there's a lot of similarities.
So when you came to Texas, did you just challenge the TCOL test, or did you go back through an academy?
No, I challenged the TCOL test and passed that test to be able to get my certifications here.
Do you have any hobbies outside of police?
Yeah.
Absolutely. I enjoy pretty much anything outdoors, especially if my family's there, whether it's sports or fishing, hunting, hiking. We like being outside, and I can't stand gardening or lawn work.
Yeah,
we still do it, but I've met a lot of people here since I moved here that are fanatics with their lawn. You know, everything is perfect.
The crisp
They
lines.
got those real mowers.
That's
they're
not
their-
me. Yeah,
No.
that's not me. I don't enjoy yard work, but yeah, anything outdoors and anything with my family. We like doing our own repairs on the home and such. And
Yeah.
all my kids and my wife, they're all involved as well.
It's all hands on deck.
Yes.
I love it. But doesn't it just ruin your weekend when you know it's like yard work weekend?
Yeah.
Like, see, my wife loves to do yard work.
So
Like last weekend was that weekend at home, and I was like, oh, it's miserable.
Yeah. Well, I have a benefit there. I have 3 teenage boys, and
Well, that's a lot of
and
help.
they
See,
handle a
mine's
lot
off
of it
at
right
college.
now. Yeah.
And I've lost one of mine. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to get started early in this Texas heat too.
Yep.
You don't want to wait till the middle of the summer.
Yeah, we
to get
learned
out
that.
there.
It took a couple of years. But we learned that.
and then the mosquitoes start
Yep.
coming out and everything else to come with it.
Might be my least favorite thing
Yep.
about Texas.
Mosquitoes and
Mosquitoes.
fire
Yeah.
ants.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, we really appreciate you coming and talking to us today.
Yes, thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. It's my pleasure.
Thank you all for listening and watching today. If you want to know more about upcoming events, go to our website, allenpolice.org.
And make sure to like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below.
We'll see you next time.